INEOS planning for 2024 with Erik ten Hag. One player is already set to leave the club, and all of your latest transfer news. These are some of the topics we will be discussing on this evening's live show. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get straight on into it. So yeah, apologies for the lack of live videos, everybody, but this is a live video. I will read out some of your comments, so make sure you get your comments in below and I will read them out. But let's get on with it though. So let's start the show off with some transfer related news, shall we? And we have got confirmation from Fabrizio Romano that apparently Alvaro Fernandez, the left back, 21 years of age. I know some of you guys really, really like this player, but I do wonder how much have people actually seen of him? I mean, he's never played for Man United before. So there seems to be this obsession with Alvaro Fernandez and Amad Diallo. And I feel like it's that thing where, you know, where there's the uncertainty, the what you don't know, and it kind of intrigues people. I feel like Alvaro Fernandez is that player. Obviously, he's on loan at Benfica at the moment, and Fabrizio Romano has just said the following thing. He says Benfica are planning to trigger the buy option clause for Alvaro Fernandez for €6 million to Manchester United. He says that Benfica's plans have not changed. He's doing well at Benfica, and they are now expecting to trigger the release clause before the end of the season. So Alvaro Fernandez to Benfica looks like it will be a done deal, unless an absolute disaster happens. Maybe he gets injured. Maybe then it doesn't happen. But from what I've heard, he's done really, really well at Benfica. At first, he didn't really get played very much, which was a little bit concerning. But I think since he's kind of broke into the team there, I think he's done pretty well. He's played 8 times in the Portuguese league. He's played 3 times in the Europa League. So he has contributed for Benfica. Obviously, it's a shame. I would have loved to given some youth players an opportunity, but he's been here for quite some time, guys. He came from Real Madrid's youth academy back in 2021. He went on loan to Preston. Then he went on loan to Granada. He's now gone on loan to Benfica. This is his 3rd loan move in a row. And if Man United don't want him at the club anymore, then just let him go. So yes, it's a little bit disappointing. Yes, I would have been interested to see what he could have done. And I think we can all agree that I would have rather had him here considering our injury crisis. We haven't had a left back all season. Luke Shaw's been injured for most of the season, and Malacia has disappeared off the face of the earth. So for me personally, my biggest regret is that Manchester United didn't keep him before they let him go on loan to Benfica, because we could have really, really used him this season. We could have given him a trial. We could have seen if it worked out. But we're never going to get that now, and it looks like he will be joining Benfica. €6 million it will be. €6 million in the bank. I mean, €6 million is not very much in the grand scheme of things, but I guess it's better than nothing. How much did we pay for him? We got him for free, so I guess that's 100% profit. And you know what Man United are like. We have to count every penny at the moment, it seems. So €6 million profit, better than nothing. The most likely thing is he'll probably do really well at Benfica, and in 2 or 3 seasons, he'll probably go to another club for crazy money, and we'll be sat here looking like idiots. But there's not really much we can do about that. When we loaned him to Benfica, we included in that contract a €6 million release clause, and they've effectively triggered it. So there's nothing we can do. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Alvaro Fernandez, are you upset about this? €6 million in the bank. We'll take it, I guess. That's all we can really do. Let's move over to some transfer-related news about incomings. And we've got an update for you on Adrian Rabiot. And the headline this evening is that Manchester United are pressing and moving fast to bring Adrian Rabiot to the club on a free transfer this summer. Now, we've been speaking about Rabiot for what feels like a lifetime. Obviously, we tried to sign him, was it last year or the season before? I can't remember. It was either the summer just gone or Erik ten Hag's first summer. I think it might have been Erik ten Hag's first summer. And obviously John Murtough flew out to Turin to negotiate with Adrian Rabiot's mother, who's his agent, and he didn't get anywhere. And he came back with no Adrian Rabiot. But Adrian Rabiot's contract expires in June. So he's literally got a month left of his current deal at Juventus. He's refused to sign a new contract, and he will be leaving Juventus this summer. He's played 28 times in Serie A this season for Juventus, scoring 3 goals and getting 4 assists. So, I mean, it's not a great return, is it? But he is a midfielder. 29 years of age. Apparently, he's going to want really, really big wages, though. We're talking 250k a week type wages. Now, would I sign Adrian Rabiot? I probably would. And the reason why I would is that Eriksen needs to go. Okay? Eriksen needs to go. That's one midfielder. Donny van de Beek needs to go. Hannibal Mejbri will probably go. I wouldn't put him in the needs to go category, but I think he probably will go. That's 3 midfielders already. Casemiro needs to go. His legs are gone. He's not able to play at the top level anymore. That's 4 midfielders. And we haven't even started on people like Scott McTominay. So 3 or 4 midfielders need to leave Manchester United this summer. And if we're able to get somebody of Rabiot's quality for nothing as a free agent, who is arguably in the prime years of his life right now, 29 years of age, sign him on a 3-year contract maybe, I think it would be a good deal because we're going to really, really sell ourselves short otherwise. But let me know what you guys think. Adrian Rabiot to Manchester United, yes or no? Big ups to Fred as well, who has just gifted 5 memberships to the Daily Red Devil Members Club. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. If you do want to join the Members Club, you get a little badge next to your name. It supports the channel. I think it's only 99p. So if you are in a position to join the Members Club, please do it. It really helps the channel. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you guys now. If you're not in a position to join the Members Club, please do subscribe. We're on the road to 22,000 subscribers. So go and subscribe. Why not? Get involved. Let me just drop the link in the chat. There we go. I've just dropped the link in the chat for anybody who wants to join. And if you don't want to join, subscribe. Why not? Right. So we've talked about Rabiot. Yeah, my stance is I think Rabiot's a no-brainer. Free agent. Definitely still a good player. Better than Eriksen. You could probably get a couple of million for Eriksen this summer. We know Ajax are interested. Sell Eriksen for a couple of million, clear his wages, and then bring in Rabiot for free. I think it would be a good bit of business personally, because we've got to be really, really clever with our spending this summer. We're not going to have a ridiculous amount of money. And when you think that Christian Eriksen is paid 150 grand, right, a week, which is a lot of money, I think, for somebody who barely plays. Now, some people would say, oh well, Erik ten Hag should play him more. Which maybe is true, but across all competitions this season, he's only played about 1,200 minutes, which is about the equivalent of maybe 10 or 11 games total. So he's not really played that much this season. Erik ten Hag clearly doesn't fancy him. If Erik ten Hag is sacked, I can't really see a new manager coming in and thinking, I'm going to build a team around Christian Eriksen. So I think it's time he probably was moved on. But let me know what you guys think. Right, let's move on to the next transfer story. And this is about Ronald Araujo. We've been linked to this guy loads in the last kind of week or so. More stories saying that Man United and Bayern Munich are strongly interested in signing Ronald Araujo this summer. It says Barcelona want him to stay at the club. Araujo must decide if he wants to stay or leave. Now, I think Araujo is a quality player. Would I go for him? To be honest, it all depends on the amount of money he's going to cost. The amount of money that's being floated around at the moment is like 70 to 80 million pounds. I'm not sure if he's a 70 to 80 million pound centre-back. I'm not sure if there are many 70 to 80 million pound centre-backs in the world, to be honest with you, Antonio Silva at Benfica, he's 20 years of age and going to cost you 85 million euros. Sorry, 85 million pounds his release clause is. And we need a centre-back desperately. But for me personally, I think someone like Todibo is a more safer option for around 40 million. Maybe you bring in Todibo and maybe you get somebody on a free. There's a couple of people available on a free. We've got Tosin, who's available. I think he's at West Ham at the moment. Is that right? Yeah, West Ham. There are options out there. Sorry, he's at Fulham. Yeah, but I think 80 million pounds for Araujo is stupid money. And you know that he's going to want absolutely ridiculous wages as well. Because if he's going from a team in the Champions League to a team not in the Champions League, you have to question what his motives would be. Why would you leave Barcelona, who are doing pretty well in the Champions League, to go and join Manchester United? Like, we're on the decline. Barcelona seem to be kind of in the middle / kind of on the up in the middle. Yeah. And I just think that for me personally, the only reason he'd come would be for money. And I don't want people coming to United for money anymore. We need hungry people who are coming in to prove themselves, not people who are coming here just to collect a paycheck. And I can already see that being the case here. Like, his wages are 130,000 a week. When you think that Rafael Varane earns 350 grand a week, Rafael Varane is paid nearly 3 times the amount that Araujo's paid. And you can kind of explain now why Araujo would want to come to Manchester United, because he's going to get loads of money. Like, for me, it's a no. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Araujo to Manchester United, would you be interested in him coming? Or if you're not, then who would be your preferred signing? The other thing we have to consider as well is he does get injured quite a lot. Last season, he missed 23 games through injury. He's missed 7 games this season for injury. The season before that, he missed about 20. The season before that, he missed about 20. So he could just be another Rafael Varane, you know, a younger version of Varane who comes in on his day is world class, but maybe misses like 20 games a season every year, which we need somebody who's going to be able to play every game. And I know it's difficult to, you know, to get that because you can't just, some of it's luck, isn't it? Like, for example, Lisandro Martinez, before we signed him, I think he'd only missed about 2 games in his whole career through injury. And he comes to Manchester United and he's missed like half the season last year and almost all of the season this year. So, yeah, it is a worry, but we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Right, let's move over to the manager. This is coming out from The Athletic. Very, very reliable source here in the UK. And they are reporting this evening that INEOS continue to insist they are planning with Erik ten Hag for next season. INEOS believe that United's executive team above Ten Hag did not provide him with the greatest chance to succeed. The lack of clear alternatives, the cost of firing him, and hiring a replacement is also factored in to Ten Hag's favour. I would agree with all of that last bit. There isn't any clear alternative, point one. To fire Erik ten Hag and his team is going to cost around £10 million. That's point two. And point three, those are the 2 main points. There's no clear person to replace him, and the cost of replacing him is going to cost you 10 million. The alternatives are Gareth Southgate. Nobody wants him. Thomas Tuchel. I don't particularly want Thomas Tuchel. I don't think he's someone who's going to be here for the next 10 years. He falls out with the people around him. He doesn't develop youth, etc., etc. Who else is there? Jose Mourinho, definitely not. Conte, definitely not. There's Ruben Amorim, maybe, but again, that's a massive risk. Is he any better than Erik ten Hag, really? If you actually look at the comparison between Erik ten Hag at Ajax and Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, is Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon better than Erik ten Hag was at Ajax? Probably not. So I think that INEOS are actually being really clever here, that they're identifying that the problem has been the people behind Erik ten Hag, the team, the CEO, the lack of director of football, not having the right scouts, all the rest of it, opposed to it being Erik ten Hag's fault. You don't just become a bad manager overnight. It doesn't work like that. It's the same as anything, isn't it? If you're, really good at your job, you don't just suddenly wake up the next day and you're terrible at your job. You have to look at the environment. You have to look at your circumstances. Are you maybe stressed? Is there something going on in your life? So we have seen glimmers last season of what Erik ten Hag can do, getting us third, winning us a trophy. And to fire him 8 months after that, after an injury crisis, when we've got no executives above him, we've had a partial takeover, I just think would be stupid. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, if you guys disagree, then that is obviously completely fine. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat really quickly. Somebody saying in the chat, why doesn't Araujo come and take a pay cut? I mean, nobody comes to Manchester United and gets a pay cut. The biggest example of this was, right, Anthony at Ajax. Anthony's wages at Ajax. Are you ready for this? Anthony at Ajax earned £25,000 a week. He joins Manchester United. He's put on £200,000 a week. I mean, let that just sink in for a minute. What kind of message does that give to other clubs and agents when you bring in a player and you then increase their wage by 8 times what they were earning before? It's a joke, and this is one of the things that needs to change massively. It's crazy. It really, really is. So we go. Yeah, big ups to everyone who's in the chat this evening. As I said, I haven't been doing the live videos as much lately because I quite like the pre-recorded ones. I find them a little bit more to the point. But yeah, big ups to everyone in the chat. If you are new today, please do subscribe and smash a like on the video. And let me know what you think about Erik ten Hag, guys. Do you want him to stay? We have got a poll running on the channel, and 82% of you think that we should stick with Erik ten Hag, and 18% of you think we shouldn't. So that's really interesting. I'm in the camp where we should stick with Erik ten Hag. My dream for this summer is that, I've said this to you guys time and time and time again, 90% of the squad need to go. Erik ten Hag needs to stay. And then Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox need to sign the players. Erik ten Hag doesn't have any involvement in signing the players. And then we build for the future. That's what needs to happen. If that happens, I'm telling you, over time, we will be a success. I'm certain of it. This is my opinion. Obviously, I can't tell the future. Otherwise, I'd be a very rich man if I could predict the future. But I genuinely believe that if 90% of that first team goes, we bring in a load of new players, not Erik ten Hag signings, though. That's the key point here. It's Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, and Jason Wilcox running the signings. Erik ten Hag maybe gets some more coaches, I think. Maybe some fitness coaches. Maybe some better coaches than Steve McLaren. I think he's kind of average, personally. I think we'll be better. I really, really do. But that's just my opinion. You know, some people say, bring in Thomas Tuchel. Maybe we'll be better next season. But I just think there's actually a lot more risk in sacking Erik ten Hag than there is in keeping him. Because if Erik ten Hag's going to meet with INEOS now, right? And he's saying, oh, I want to pick the signings. I want all of this involvement. They're going to say to you, Erik, being completely honest, you're on thin ice. You know, you didn't get Champions League football. You've fallen out with players. The football isn't that great. You can't come in here and make demands. Either you are the coach, the head coach, or we're going to remove you. And I think that that's genuinely a conversation that's probably going to be happening because INEOS are in a position of power now. Erik ten Hag's not in a position to be making demands about, I want to be able to pick the signings. I want to do this. I want to do that. Because they could easily turn around to him and say, you know what, Erik, we're going to get rid of you. And he couldn't really argue with that because this season has been a failure. So I think it's actually almost a good position. I know that sounds strange, but I think it's actually better in the long run that Erik ten Hag's hand is weakened in some sense because it means that Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, Jean-Claude Blanc, all of these people are going to come in and they're going to have the authority they deserve, opposed to Erik ten Hag saying, I want us to go and sign Marko Arnautovic or something. You know, obviously he wanted him, didn't he? Like, the signings have been questionable. I think we can all agree on that. Let's see what people are saying. Ruskin says, we've got some really exciting youth players. The future is bright if they're given their fair chance. Yeah, we have got some good youth players, mate. We have. And I think that that's why Erik ten Hag should stay because what he's done with Mainu, Garnacho, even Willy Camboala, like, you have to give Erik ten Hag respect for that. Kobe Mainoo's a first-team player for Man United now. Garnacho starts every game for Man United now. And there are other options out there, you know. He could have played Anthony in his place. He could play Ahmad. He could have kept Sancho. But he didn't. And he's stuck with a 19-year-old Garnacho and a 19-year-old Kobe Mainoo. And you have to give him respect for that. Because Erik ten Hag has been renowned for, you know, his development of youth. Right, so we've talked about Erik ten Hag. We've talked about Man United apparently sticking with him. A couple of bits of transfer-related news to stick with, to rattle through quickly. Apparently, Man United are going to get rid of Sancho in the summer. I think we can all expect that. Bit of news on Casemiro. Apparently, Turkish clubs want to sign Casemiro. I think that's complete rubbish. No Turkish clubs would be able to afford his wages. He's on 350k a week. Not a single club in Turkey would be able to afford his wages. I remember when Fred went to Fenerbahce in the summer, like, he was on about 150k at Man United and he had to take a pay cut to go to Galatasaray. Like, why would Casemiro go and take a pay cut to play in the Turkish league? I think he's going to go to Saudi. I think Saudi will offer us probably around 50 million euros and he'll probably get a pay rise and he'll go. And I think that's probably going to happen. But let me know what you guys think about Casemiro. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this evening's live video. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. If you have enjoyed today's show, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.